Yeah, yeah. You say you're ready to date. You say you're ready. You feel like it's fate. Join James and Dr. J. Sundays, 10 p.m. Don't be late for dating while anointed. Sundays, 10 p.m. It's great.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dating While Anointed. I am Dr. Rasheda Jackson, and this space is for real conversations about dating, especially as believers. Here at the James H. Glover Studios, we are a faith-based kingdom building community, and we will have faith-based kingdom building conversations because the truth is, dating while carrying purpose, maintaining standards, and faith is not for the faint at heart. So here we're going to talk about it honestly. Tonight, I'm joined by our executive producer, Mr. James H. Glover III, the Reverend James H. Glover III, who's going to help me navigate this conversation from a different perspective. James H. Glover Studios is growing, it's changing, and you are a part of the transition. So help me welcome to the stage, James H. Glover III.
Hello.
What? Now you get to do your what's up.
What is up, everyone? You all look. I am not used to being interviewed on my own platform, but I'm cool with it. Not
So
many people can get away with that, but my mama can.
those of you that saw me on Thursday night know that tonight is a little different vibe. And with that, we have some experience that we're going to share through the process. But you are watching James H. Glover Studios evolve right before your eyes. And the P. Diddy of this production, we mean that we mean that in the most jokingly way, not that
Yes,
you're
yes. Look,
okay. So
No
Saints,
Diddy,
buckle up.
No Diddy,
No Diddy. So but he shows up in all our videos, Mr. Glover over there. We are kicking him out. So what we're gonna do here, on this podcast is Dating While Anointed. He and I are going to probably, I think the best thing we're going to do is we're probably going to do bi-weekly. I'm going to let him host and then I'll host, and we'll do it that way so we can keep the perspective fresh and you can get it from the male and the female perspective. But when he's ready, I'll let y'all know. I got the time clock ticking. So this Sunday night, right now, we want to welcome you guys. You get to hear from myself, your host, Rasheda Jackson, and the executive producer of James H. Glover Network, Mr. Reverend James H. Glover. So let's talk about why this conversation matters. Why does it matter? James, from your perspective, why is dating such a complicated conversation in the Christian community?
Because we make it a complicated conversation. Let's be
You
honest.
got to speak up.
We make it a complicated conversation. We really
Okay,
do.
explain.
Like, we make it harder than what it really has to be. If you are dating the way that God intended for you to date, there's no complications.
I find it in this season, and I've been chalking it up to my age, but I find it that dating has definitely become easier because I am very vocal about what I want,
Hmm.
and setting boundaries and making expectations known, and really being intentional about dating and the people that I spend time with. Do you think that people are really being honest about what they actually experience when they're dating?
I think that they are being honest to an extent, but I believe that also with honesty, you have to have a safe space to be honest. So it goes on both parties to create that safe space to where the other party feels safe.
So you're saying that I heard you mention safe space. Lean into that for me.
So okay, like I'm gonna break it down like this for y'all tonight. As a man, if we feel like we do not have a safe space to tell you how we're feeling and what we're feeling, A man is going to sit down 24/7, 365 days out of the year. But if that man feels like he's got a safe space, he feels like that, yo, he's appreciated, and what he says is not going to be used as a tactic to break him down or tear him down, then
It
he's more often to open up.
it won't be
Because
used for a bullet later.
exactly, exactly,
Right.
exactly. So we have to, and I believe that that goes for both parties, especially, let's be real, as African Americans. We
Mhm.
have a lot that we go through on a daily basis. It is hard enough just being an African American
Yeah.
in the world.
Hmm.
The last thing we need is to come home and be beat down by the person that you love.
I 100% agree with that. Like we've got to learn what the real basis of love, understanding, safe space is when it comes to that type of thing. Now, where do you think that the disconnect is between what we're taught and what we live?
Because I believe that what we're taught is that you need to create that safe space. We definitely are taught that. And what we live is everything got to be an argument.
So let's take it even deeper. So that's our thought process, right? That we have to be a safe space to our partners, and but people are living in a social media space where everything got to be drama, right? Everything's got to
Hmm.
be dramatic. Let's take it even deeper. When we talk about the disconnect, where do you think the disconnect is between what we're taught biblically and what we actually live?
What we're taught biblically is that love is patient, love is kind, love is fruitful, love envies not, love is not jealous, love thinketh no evil.
Keeps no
But what
record
we,
of evil,
yeah,
right?
yeah, what we live is, if you do one thing wrong to me, I'm ready to cut you off and throw you away.
Let me tell you, it's a battle, right? It's a battle
Mm.
when you really think about it, because it's like, well, oh, is this really real? But we just have to, in this space, we just got to be honest, right? And we got to be, we got to realize that we're human, right? So we hear as women, wait, pray, be patient. But what does that look like in real life? Wait, pray, be patient. God got somebody for you. He's gonna come, and then we riding on a Honda and all of these things. But what does that look like?
Now we bought it on the Honda.
What does that look like in real life? Like, what's the reality behind that? What's the real reality behind you wait and you pray and you be patient?
The real reality behind that is you gotta trust. There's a part in that that we wait, that we mess up on. You wait, you be patient, but then you gotta trust.
Okay, so let's really bring it to our human side, because there's a human side of this that doesn't always get acknowledged. So we pray, we wait, and we trust. But in our human nature, when we meet somebody,
We automatically fall in love.
what do you think? We don't automatically fall in love, but what are we waiting for? And what should we be waiting for? What should we be praying for? What should we be patient about, in that order? So let's start with this one, because I know I talk a lot, but
No, no, no. You
in
good.
the
I
in
love
the
it.
waiting, what should we be waiting for? So from a man's perspective, what should a woman be waiting for?
For a woman, a man, from a man's perspective, a woman ought to wait on a man to show you that he's the man that you need. You ought to wait for him to show you by his actions that, you know what, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna do the things that a man is supposed to do. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna cover you. Even I'm gonna make sure that you are good. Like, you're gonna be safe when you are around me. You ought to wait on him to show you that, like, you are the most one of the most important things to him in life. And let's be real, we shouldn't, as a woman, you shouldn't wait for a man to put a ring on your finger to treat you as a wife. He ought to be treating you as a wife from the minute that y'all get together. Because of the simple fact of, I've said this before and I got a lot of pushback on it. But a man, and notice I said a man, ladies, a man knows within dates if you are wife potential
If
or if
you're
you're
wife
not.
potential. So what you're saying, James, is if she, even if she's wife potential, he should be putting the P's into effect, right? He should be
Oh yeah.
putting the prayer, the protection, and the power in place to make sure that he's her safe space. And we should be waiting with
Oh
another
yeah.
P patiently, right?
Oh yeah.
But these are the things we should be waiting for him to display these characteristics. That's what
Mhm.
you're saying.
Yeah, and you ought to
Now,
watch
what should
how he
we?
treats the people
Hmm?
around him. You ought to watch how he treats the people around him. What is his relationship like with his mother? Because let's be real, if he ain't got a good relationship with his mother, and there's no good reason why he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother, guess what? He probably ain't gonna have a good relationship with you.
Now, as a woman, what should we be praying for?
You ought to pray for a man that is going to lead, because the Bible tells us that the man is the head of the household. He is right after God, it is the man. So you need to make sure that your man is being led by God and not led by his own selfish desires. You ought to cover him. You ought to pray for him. You ought to protect him. You ought to make sure that when he walks out of that house every day, he's covered. Because I can tell you from firsthand experience, there ain't nothing like a praying woman.
Now, even so, we're talking about before the man even comes. So let's talk about that. So now, this person has got a man. These are the things that she should be doing, praying and covering him and making sure that he's covered, as his day goes on and those types of things. But what about the woman who's in waiting? What should she be praying for?
Still pray. Still pray for him, even though you don't know who he is. Say, Lord, protect my husband wherever he is. Lord, protect my husband wherever he is. Lord, lead him into the path that you would have him to go on so that me and him link up.
Well, one of my prayers is always draw him closer to you.
Yes, that's
Make
it.
sure that it draw him whatever it's gonna take, whatever you got to take him through, whatever you got to bring him to, draw him closer to you because I need him to be close to you. Um, and I mean close to God. And in being patient, I've just learned that in my patience, right, and in my waiting, there's also some growing and some maturing that takes place. When the Bible says, allow patience to have its perfect work, I believe that from a man's perspective, and we say allow patience to have its perfect work. What do you see? Because I have had my experience has been a gentleman that has waited patiently 4 years to just get an opportunity to take me out.
Cause
I,
y'all, my
I think
mama
that was
will
be
curve a man for in a heartbeat. My mama will curve a man in a heartbeat. And then here I am as I said, Mama, that's a good man, Savannah. A good man. A good man.
but in being patient, where do men exercise patience? I think that's a good example. Maybe we can get him on the show to talk about it at some point. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
being patient, why would a man exercise that type of patience?
Because he sees the queen in you. And let's be real. A grown man that sees the woman that he sees as a wife is not going to give up on you so easily. Because let's keep it all the way real over here. He understands that if he sees a queen in you, another man is going to see the queen in you as well. So let's guess what? He's going to keep applying that pressure because he knows sooner or later, just like Steve Urkel did with Laura Winslow, he wore her down.
He wore it down. I love that, James. I love that. I think that from my perspective, a lot of times in our teaching, we are given um a lot of fluff, right? We
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of that. We might get a lot of principles, a lot of nuggets, but not always the context. So, what we seek to do here at Dating While Anointed is to bring people that can bring some depth and some context to this process we call dating. So you all can expect to see married people, divorced people, ministers, preachers, coaches, people that have done it great and successfully, and people that don't feel like they've done it so successful and they want to share their story. We are going to get in the thick of it. But tonight, you guys, I'm interviewing the man himself, the legend. So I want you guys to hear more of his perspective because many of the shows are centered around relationships, which tells me that there was a need, a gap. James has many shows, you all. He's here every night of the week. I'm
Yeah.
kicking him out of my shows,
Yes.
righteously kicking him out. But I want you all to be able to hear his perspective because you're going to hear him. Hopefully, you'll show up on next Friday night because breaking up with toxicity is when they get deep into a relationship and they even put the men against the woman. We're not doing that here,
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
but we're going to
mm-mm.
bring people that can really bring some context to relationships. Erotic relationships or not I don't know,
Yeah.
relationships between a man and a woman. So James, what do men actually look for when dating a woman of faith?
We
Because you're
look.
single.
mm,
What do you tell the people, James, what is James looking for?
For me, I'm looking for a woman that knows her worth.
Wait, y'all hear him talking all buttery and smooth, right?
I'm
I be
looking
trying
for
to
a
get him to
woman.
speak up. I'm looking
I'm
for.
looking. I'm looking for a woman that knows her worth. I'm looking for a woman that is already on her root status, that's already doing the work that she needs to do in order to make us successful. She's not waiting on me to come in here to before she gets to working. But a lot of us use Ruth. A lot of women use Ruth as an example, talking about I'm waiting on my Boaz. Okay, you're waiting on your Boaz. Okay, but
Mm-mm.
here's the thing: when Boaz found Ruth, she was working. She
Oh,
was
that's
well.
good.
So what I'm saying is, be somewhere where you can be found. Be and what Boaz ended up seeing was, okay, you know what? She is a good help for me. And what we have to remember is, as kingdom citizens, we have to take it back to the Bible. And God looked at man and said, it is not good for him, man, to be alone. So let me create of him a helpmate. And Adam, when Eve was created for Adam, Adam said, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So she is my helpmate. In other words, what I'm saying is, in this season that I'm in, I'm looking for my rib. I'm looking for that missing piece that I'm missing. Because as Neo said, I'm a movement by myself, but I'll be a force when we together.
All right. I love that. Next question. Do you think that men, you said it just a second ago, which brings me to my next thought. You said that when Boaz found Ruth, Ruth was working, which is absolutely what scripture says. Do you think that men feel pressure when dating a woman who is purpose driven or visible or, like myself, like out in front, an entrepreneur? Do men feel pressure? Do you think that your community as a man, do you think that your community feels pressure?
I think what they feel is I can't play with her. She's a woman that knows her worth. So I can't run game on her. Some of
Wow.
these little girls around here I can run game on. But this grown woman right here, no, I gotta come correct. So I can't come at her with no fluff. I gotta come at her with the real.
Whoa. Listen, y'all hear from a man's mouth tonight. Y'all are hearing it from a man's mouth. So a lot of times, ladies, those of us that are in these, public positions or we've accomplished something, we're purpose driven or we are working, right? We a lot of times say men are intimidated or they feel pressure, but you heard it. It's not really the pressure, it's the thought. behind the fact that, hey, I can't run the same level of game on someone that's not on her level.
Mm-mm.
So I'm telling you, dating while anointed, y'all just getting a teaser tonight. This is how it's going to be. It's going to be real conversations with real people, and we're going to get into the thick of it. So with that being said, James, let's just be real. Let's
All right,
be
let's
real. I'm
do it.
going deeper. I'm going deeper.
Let's do it.
How do men process desire?
Ah, okay, explain that. Explain that.
How
Because
do
there's a lot
men,
of desire.
okay, how do men process desire while trying to remain disciplined?
Okay. For me, for men, we process it by trying to remember that, you know what, we are trying to live a kingdom life and not live as the world would have us to live. Because you know what, I believe that a great R&B singer said it best. You know, I'm gonna put it like this: any man can look, any little boy can love 100,000 different women, but a grown man is gonna find 100,000 different ways to love one woman. And an R&B artist, a great, says compliment what he does. Send her roses just because if it's violence, she won't let them play. Dedicate her favorite song and hold her closer all night long.
Let's go.
Let her love her today. Find 100 ways.
100 ways. Y'all,
Yes.
listen, let me tell y'all how this man, James Glover, is an old soul. Number one. And number two, how he loved music, y'all. Y'all, you will not meet another person. I'm doing his shameless plug right now. He is single. He's looking for his real. So if you're out there, ladies, and you
Look,
are,
look, look.
and
And
you are,
y'all, wait. What she forgetting to tell y'all is she like my mama. So y'all gotta go through her before y'all even get to me.
yeah, you got to come through me to get to him. But if you put your application in, I might consider you for the job. Now, we're just playing around, but do you think that, James, in us joking and being lighthearted, I want to make sure that we have depth and context in our conversation. Do you think that women misread or misunderstand men when they're dating them and they're in the church?
Mm-mm. I think that sometimes I think,
Because now we got some stigmas
mm,
attached to church and dating men in the church. We can start from the choir to the musicians to the
let me,
preacher,
let
then
me,
in the pulpit. I mean, then to the pews. We have some stigmas. Do you think that young women that are praying, waiting, and being patient, do you think that they sometimes, misunderstand men?
I think sometimes they do. And I think that sometimes what they see is the glory, but they don't know everything that comes with it. So it's like they want
That's
the
so
hype.
good.
They want the hype.
You got to say that again.
They want the glory without knowing everything that comes with it. So they want the hype. They want to be on that front row. They want to be sister so and so. They want to be first lady. They want to be
Elect
first in
lady, a
line.
lady,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes. They want
So I
that, but they don't want the all the hours of the night where I'm having to be up and I'm having to pray for the
yes,
saints. They don't want that.
and going to people's houses and praying for people all night in the church and taking them to other pastors and bringing them to your house. And listen, so people might think, so what gives me the credential to actually do this show? Guys, listen, I was married for 15 years to a pastor. Let's start there. And I said, some relationships that I can bring some experience to the table, even with questions that are going to be enriching. I just believe that we need to bring real context. This is not about fluff. We're gonna talk about the love languages and all of those things, and I love it. I believe it is accurate. But what I want to get into is, how do we effectively date in the kingdom? How do we effectively get to a point of courtship? So leaving just the dating, we use that in a very general way, when my dad has taught me that dating is for data. How do you get, James? How do you believe we step up? What does it take to get from dating to the courtship?
It takes from dating to get to dating to the courtship. It takes communication. It takes honest communication. You got to be honest about what you want and what you don't want. You got to be real. You got to be like upfront. You can't have the fluff. You got to be real. And you got to be serious in it. Like, you can't, if you see a potential in a person, there's no need to have about 50,000 different people that you're trying to talk to at the same time.
I agree
Focus
with
on
that.
that one person.
I agree with that. So, ladies, clear your roster.
Mm.
Clear your
Espe-
roster when the
And
one,
especially to my
when the one
brothers.
that you believe is the one, or that you discern is the one. Listen, that's what the prayer is for God to show you and give you clarity and understanding. And that's how James just explained it, how we get from the dating phase to the courtship. James, tell the audience, because I got two more important questions. Tell the audience, what do men wish women knew, but they don't say?
That I think for us as men, sometimes we don't need, it's not that we don't want to talk. It's just a fact that sometimes we're just so drained that we don't have the words to say. And we don't need you to try to fix every problem. We just need you to tell us, baby, it's okay.
Well, with that being said, I'm going to say ouch
Hmm.
because, in preaching, we say you got to say ouch or say amen. And
Hmm.
we as women, being nurturers, it's in our mind that whatever's going on, we need to fix it. We are fixers in everybody's situation, especially women of color and especially women that have been raised and groomed in the church. We are taught to have a servant's heart, and we take that servant's heart into every place that we go, and it oftentimes does not lead us to the point that we want to get to. Many times it doesn't lead to marriage because people that are trained this way and that think this way oftentimes are connected to people that are takers, and they enjoy it as long as the ride is, still smooth for them until they find the next stop to get off. I heard a young lady that I follow, her name is Shayla, on Facebook say today, she said, women are taking time to learn themselves, get to know themselves, figure themselves out. And most of the time, men have already seen the next woman that they're going to be with. How do you feel about that when it comes to how we should handle things in breakups, in relationships, in ministry?
Let me put it like this: everything ain't for social media.
Right.
And another thing is, be careful what you tell your friends because everybody ain't your friend. Every listening ear isn't an ear that is listening. Let me be honest. There's a difference between people that are going to pray for you and difference between people that are going to pray on you, because there are some that's going to pray for your relationship, and then there's some that's going to pray on the downfall of your relationship. You got to pick between the two of which one is which.
So, my last question before we close Dating While Anointed tonight, what do you think women expect that men aren't always prepared for?
Women expect a man to come to the table with a plan. Not all the way, have it all together, but he at least got to be coming to the table with a plan. And let's be honest, as men, we are supposed to be the providers, the protectors, and those that are coming to the table with a plan. So let me say this to our fellas and to my brothers. If you're not coming to the table with a plan, leave that woman alone. Like, if you know that you are just gonna play games with her, leave her alone.
Mic drop.
Yeah, like leave her alone. Like, why are you wasting her time? Like, and I believe that could go to women too. Why are you wasting that brother's time? Because I think that sometimes what happens is good people end up getting hurt because of people that wasn't ready for what they thought they was ready for.
That's amazing. So y'all heard it from the man himself, the executive producer, the owner, founder of James H. Glover Network and James H. Glover Studios. Let's be honest. Dating while anointed, it's not just about finding the right person. It's about becoming honest about who you are, what you want, and what you are ready to receive into your life, what you're ready to expect. Because purpose doesn't remove desire, and faith, well, it doesn't eliminate the need for real connection. We can
Hmm.
pray, we can wait, and we can be patient. But at the same time, we need to learn to navigate this thing that we call dating, and we need to understand how to do it differently. This has been Dating While Anointed. We'll see you next Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central Time, 11 p.m. Eastern. God
Amen.
bless you. Love your neighbors, even as you love yourself. Have a good
Right.
night.
All right. God bless y'all. Peace.
Thank you for watching the James H. Glover Studios exclusive episode. We pray you've been blessed. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe to all of our stations. Be blessed.